Honey, if this is what crazy in love is, I want no parts. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be reviewing the new Netflix limited series called Behind Her Eyes. And honey, it was definitely something behind her eyes, okay? It was a couple of things behind those eyes, okay? So if I'm looking down, I'm looking at my little notes that I wrote here. So, two things I took away from this movie. The first thing was, I keep saying movies, it was a series. The first thing was, stop telling your best friend or your friends how good your man is, okay? Stop doing that, ladies, because in this movie, you will see why you shouldn't do that. And the second thing is, mind your business. Just mind your business. That's all you gotta do. Child, this is what minding your business when it went wrong, okay? This is what when not minding your business went wrong. So we got four main characters. We got David, which is the husband, Adele, which is the wife, Louise, which is the side chick, single mom, and we have Robert, which is the best friend. So, Louise, she got stood up. Her friend kind of like stood her up, and she just so happened to meet David in a bar, and they were like instantly intrigued with one another. And when it showed on David, I was like, "Ooh, he handsome," but it was something in those eyes. It was like the way he was looking at her, like he was just piercing through her, like he could just see through her. I was like, okay, wait a minute, you cute, but what's going on behind his eyes, okay? So anyway, you know, they didn't exchange names. I don't even think they exchanged names. Yeah, they didn't exchange names, they didn't exchange numbers, but they kissed. And so anyway, turns out the next day he's her new boss. She's his secretary and he is her new boss. And I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go. So let's see. So they start developing a relationship, and the wife, which is Adele, comes to the job. And when Louise sees, like, oh my gosh, this mofo is married, so the wife comes to the job and whatever. So then Louise just so happened to run into the wife, Adele, outside of a coffee shop. And Adele starts befriending her. And Louise, instead of her be like, oh shoot, no, this is just too close for comfort. No, she actually carries on with the friendship with Adele. And I'm just like, girl, the choices you making, girl. So fast forward, Louise is sleeping with David. She's at the same time, she's freaking becoming best friends with Adele. She just going bopping in between it, and she's telling like her friend, like she enjoys it. Like she like, I guess because Louise, she's tired of her life being so monotonous, you know. She's a single mom, so she's just taking care of her son, you know, just not really nothing going on in her life. So this is giving her some spark. I'm like, girl, see, you, what's going on? So you getting yourself in these entanglements, in the word of Jada Pinkett, all these entanglements, they never work out, okay? So fast forward, Adele has this best friend named Robert, and in the flashbacks, he met Adele in, it's like a facility. I'm guessing like maybe like a mental facility or rehab facility. Probably both. Maybe a mental facility. And he meets her there, and you know, they spark a relationship, and they're just getting along so well. And he's what it perceives as though it's like he's falling for Adele because she's bubbly and she's so free-spirited, she's rich, and she's just so nice. But what Adele does, she's constantly talking about David and how she can't wait to get back home to David and how much she loves David, and David is this, David is that. Oh, David, David, David. So I'm thinking, and it shows like signs with Robert, like he's like gazing at her, and it made me think like he's becoming jealous of David because, you know, he's falling for Adele. Ciao, ciao, ciao. So anyway, so they get out of the facility. Adele gets out first. She goes back to her castle, honey, because she is loaded. And by the way, one key thing is what's the name? Oh, because she's kind of like had all this trauma in her life with the her parents died in a fire, so that was very traumatic. So David, she signed over her rights, her financial rights to David. So she told Robert this, and so Robert is like, why would you sign over all of your money? Oh, I trust David. David would never do anything like that. So he's like, so he got all of your money? Yeah. So anyway, she's well enough, so she get out, she go back to her castle, and then Robert gets out and he's so excited, and he's driving up to this driving up to her estate, and he's just overwhelmed. She's showing him all around the castle, all around the house. And the weird thing was, part of the, I would say it was a castle or a house or whatever, was still the burnt up part where her parents died. They still had that there. Like, y'all didn't tear that down? That was really weird. So anyway, Adele, she has this power to where she can, as I become aware, it's called astral, hold on my phone, let me look it up. It's called astral projection. Child, I didn't know what that was until I watched other reviews, and I was like, oh. See, they were saying that in a movie called Doctor Strange, he was doing that. I never seen that movie. I don't know what it was. I had to look it up. Y'all, it says astral projection is a term used in esotericism to describe an international out-of-body experience that assumes the existence of a soul or consciousness called an astral body that is separate from the physical body and capable of traveling outside it throughout the universe. What? What? Basically, in layman terms, they're switching souls. Not switching bodies, but switching souls. So Adele can do that. Child, she messed around and told Robert, the best friend, that she could do that. So they plan one day, they gon' switch. Honey, Robert, so they switched or whatever, and they was outside switching. Why you in the forest switching? Bodies. No, not bodies, souls. So they switched souls, and Robert is like, oh no, I want this soul. I want this. So Adele's like, no, I don't want it. Let's switch. No. Let's go back. I don't like how this feels. Child, Robert then got, remember he was addicted to heroin. I don't know if I mentioned that in here, but he's addicted to heroin. Robert then got, which was his plan all along, because why would he have a heroin syringe out there? Robert then shot up Adele with heroin, killed her, and threw her body down the well. But it shows like it's Adele, because remember they just switched souls. So Adele is really Robert now. She threw him down the well, and when she threw Robert down the rail, which is really Adele, follow me here. That's why it's a psychological thriller, okay? I love these type of shows or movies. I love suspense movies, thriller movies, psychological thriller type movies. That is my jam right there. So this was right up my alley. But anyway, so it really looks like Robert is down there dead in the well. But when she threw him down there, David's watch fell off down there. So I'm like, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me this whole time that it's been Adele is really Robert? Because Robert's plan from Adele running her mouth telling him how good David was, he done fell in love with David and he wants her life. She's rich, wealthy, don't have to work for nothing, they're isolated. Child, it was Robert the whole time in Adele's body. And David, he's so clueless, he don't even know, he can't even put two and two together. And he knew after that event, and one key thing, if you guys watch it, when David first meets Robert, Robert is kind of like hiding behind this wall, kind of like peeking out, just kind of like looking at them. I thought he was just like more jealous and envious of how loving their relationship is. So then when he switched souls with Adele, and when David comes, because Adele calls him, oh my God, freaking out, look what I did, look what I did. When he comes, Adele is peeking behind that same wall, kind of creepy-ish. Yeah, now it makes sense because that was really Robert in there, and that's the same thing he did. I'm just like, honey, so the whole time. Oh, and David knows, because Adele / Robert basically says like, they're gonna think that it's you that killed Robert because your watch is down there. And you know it was suspicious of my parents' fire. How did you magically appear at night and rescue me out of there? So it's, that's suspicious to everybody. I think he was kind of like investigated or whatever. So, your watch is down there in the well, so they're going to think, so you have to protect me. This got to be our secret. So she's been holding that over his head. So ever since then, David, he basically like fell out of love with Adele. He doesn't love her the same. Everything is different. He is in misery. He's drinking, cheating, So basically, Adele / Robert can astral project herself to wherever she's been before. So she astral projected herself into Louise's, her new friend, which is really the side chick, apartment, and was able to see him, David, cheating on her. So my question is, let's see. When did Adele / Robert find out about Louise and David's affair? I put, did she astral project to his job and see that Louise and him was having sex? Because remember, per Adele, it only works if you've been to that place before. And she was there because she was getting shown around his new office. So, and then Louise and David had sex in his office. So did she find out then, or did she astral project herself to Louise's house and see them messing around because they did in the house, and she had been to Louise's house before? Or did she astral project herself at the bar when they first initially met and had the kiss? But I don't know about that one because it didn't show like she went to the bar, because she would have to, have been there before. Or was it when David's patient told her? Because David had this patient, he was kind of like erratic, and he was a drug addict or whatever. So Adele kind of like made a deal with him, like, I'll give you drugs and you let me know some information about David. And it shows because the patient actually saw Louise and David together. Are you guys following me? I'm telling you, this show is crazy. Twists and turns is so good. Thank you, Netflix, okay? So, was it David's patient that told her? So, I don't know. I'm going to have to go back and watch it again and see when exactly did Adele find out about Louise. So, anyway, it all comes out that Louise knows that Adele can astral project because all this time Adele / Robert has been teaching Louise how to change her dreams, because Louise is she has night terrors, and she teaches Louise how to change her dreams or whatever. And so Louise, she starts being able to do that. And then one time she actually starts to astral project herself. She didn't even know like she could do that. It just happened, and she went next door to her neighbor's house and was able to see everything that her neighbor was doing in real time. And so then Louise put two and two together, like, oh my gosh, she knew this whole time what was going on. So boom, it all, it gets found out. She knows Adele knows about her and David, blah 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 blah. So Louise writes a letter because Adele has convinced her that David killed Robert, and she still feels sorry for Adele because Adele / Robert is very manipulative, and so Louise writes a letter to the cops basically saying that David is the one who killed Robert. And I'm not sure if she mentioned in that letter about the fire as well. I'm not sure about that. So she mailed the letter off. So when she told Adele that she did that, Adele was like, oh heck no, why would you do that? I just wanted y'all to break up so he could come back to me. But now you about to send him to jail and I'm not gonna ever see him no more? Oh my gosh, like, girl, mind your business. So Adele is like, I guess she feels like her plan has just been ruined, which comes to my other thing. So then basically Adele / Robert writes this letter basically exonerating David, saying that it was her who threw Robert, which really was Adele, down the well. David had no parts of it. She leaves the letter and she wants to just burn herself up. So she lights a fire in the house and she lays on the bed, right? And so then Louise want to be Captain Saver and run her butt over there to the house and see that the house is on fire. And so she's trying to help Adele, she's trying to break in the house. And then so she's like, oh, I got this bright idea. I can astral project. Let me go see where Adele is. And I'm just like, girl, why? Louise is so frustrating, guys. Oh my gosh. So anyway, she sits down and go into her dream sequence and astral project. And what happens? Robert is astral projected and he switched. And now he kills off Louise, but it looks like Adele, by heroin overdose. And now he's taken on Louise's body. I said, you know what? Now, Louise, you done got yourself killed. So anyway, the fire happened. They find the letter. David is exonerated. And Louise / Robert now they done got married because all the burden is left off of him, and they just gonna be in happily blessed, live happily or whatever. They done got married and everything because he's thinking this Louise. Woo! Oh, but wait. Louise has a son, remember cute little Adam, her son? Child, when she went to go pick up her son from the dad's house, The minute he opened the door, Adam knew something is not right with my mama. Something is not right, because Louise, she was so loving to her son. She just loved him. She always knelt down to his level, gave him a big old hug, gave him a kiss. Child, when Louise showed up to that door, she's like, come on. And he was like, something not right. And then they walking down the street and she kind of like shoving him. I'm like, So then the final scene, when they in the car, they just got married, they in the car and they planning, oh, where should we go on our honeymoon or whatever. And Dave was like, oh, let's go on a cruise, or either Louise said a cruise. And the son is in the back seat saying, he was like, but mommy, you don't like the water, like you don't like boats and stuff. Child, she went and gave him this old evil eye. I said, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, because that's really Robert in there. And all along, Robert is crazy over David. And he willing to take on anybody's body just to stay with David. I'm surprised he didn't take on Mary Jane. Was her name Mary Jane? Back at the coffee shop, the first girl Robert cheated on. I'm surprised he didn't do that then. Yeah, I'm surprised, but he just threatened her. She, Adele, just threatened her. But baby, when Louise gave Adam that old evil eye, like, you better shut it up. I said, oh my goodness, the poor baby. I'm like, So anyway, guys, to wrap this all up, wait, let's see. Oh, I have another question, right? You guys can leave your answers and what you think in the comments below. So I said, do you guys think Adele / Robert was really going to kill herself, in the fire? Or do you think she planned to astral project into Louise's body? Like, was it just, it just was like a perfect plan? Louise wanted to come near and save her and was like, oh, okay, well, yeah, let's deviate to that plan. So what do you think? What do you think right there? So yeah, to wrap it up, I love the series. I hope it has a season 2. I'm not sure what limited series mean. Was that just a one-time thing? I don't know. Hopefully they will bring it back for season 2, because they can do so much more with this story. Man, they could go a lot of ways. Maybe David will wake up. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, let me know what you thought about the series, and don't forget to leave me a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel. I have more if you like videos like these, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.